Hi everybody, this is luckyDminor with Player Chess FFA. I just played a game that is quite different to the games I usually play, and I want to share a review with you. So it's a pretty strong game, 2000 plus. And red is opening. I'm opening with my queen's pawn. Green is playing defensive, fianchetto, and I move my pawn as I quite often do. Okay, yellow is more attacking to the green side. Red preparing another fianchetto. Okay, further orientation from yellow towards green. Here's the fianchetto. Okay, I can just move on, and oftentimes, especially better players, simply don't care about the walking pawn. So neither yellow nor red did bother to stop me. Oh, and now green is stopping me. That's interesting. Because as the opposite player, maybe he should let me just take a pawn and then we are both stronger against yellow and red. But maybe he thinks, well, if he's just pushing pawn and not doing anything else, he's not attacking yellow, he's not attacking red, he's not developing his position, he just goes for a queen, he's just selfish. I will not support that. So maybe that's was what green was thinking. Maybe he thought, well, luckyDminor is not into opposite team playing. So let's see. Okay. I protect a little against the bishop's diagonal. Here's another diagonal with queen and bishop pointing at me now. Okay. Further development moves. I'm pulling out my bishop. This is not the usual field where I place it often, but it has a quite nice look on this weak pawn over here, and possibly I can also pull out my queen and even checkmate if red is not aware of it. So that was my thinking at this point. Okay, I'm happy that yellow is closing the diagonal himself. Okay, everyone is playing kind of slow. So I give it a try. I pull out my queen and attack red's king. Let's see what yellow is doing. Wow, yellow is castling. I think that is not a best moment for castling. I just pulled out my queen. I just attacked this pawn. Well, it's defended, yeah. I also still have my bishop here to attack this pawn. I wouldn't have castled in this situation if I would be yellow. Okay. Green is opening a bishop's line also towards the red king, possibly supporting my attack. And he's castling in order to secure his king. Also here, I'm not sure whether castling is the best solution because now he's also under possible green attacks on these fields. I would, in this position, much rather move this pawn and block my attack. Would be better for red, I think. But he's castling. And since yellow also was castling and opening possibilities for attacks, I immediately open my bishop's line. Okay, he tries to defend preemptive, even though I now could take his rook. But obviously I would not do that because I would lose the knight, the bishop. And with the bishop or queen on this position, yellow could defend much better and even counterattack me. So I'm not taking the rook. What is green doing? Okay, still developing. Now also for possible attacks towards yellow if I lead into that. Okay. So with this move now, yellow is really under threat. This queen move would be made at this point. What can he do? Well, basically there's, as far as I'm seeing, only two possibilities. Knight moves there or there. Here I can take it. So I would recommend, even though the knight in the last line of the home base does not really look good at this point, but that would be a secure defense on this field, which I cannot take away easily. So what is he doing? He's doing the other way around. Okay. Further development with green, further pawn pushing with red. At this point I was thinking, what could red do to stop me? Because I'm pretty close possibly to mating yellow, and red cannot be happy about that. So would there be possibilities for red to attack me? For example, if he opened this pawn, I would have to defend this one against the queen. Or if he would come out with a knight and possible check threats on my open king. So there would have been very good possibilities for red in this situation to support his partner, but he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't bother. Okay, so I take the knight, and I'm not sure whether he would take back. Well, he couldn't. So if the pawn would take, I would still have a mate here. So he has to protect this field, and the only way to do this is with the bishop. Green is protecting his king or preparing an attack on red's castled king. Red is still pushing pawns, not really effectively doing anything. And I'm not taking that pawn. I could have taken that pawn. I'm not sure if it would have been better or not. He could have taken back with this pawn. And then with the queen, he could defend his field again. So I'd rather wanted this pawn to stay there. Therefore, I just moved along and attacked the bishop, knowing that the bishop has to stay on this diagonal to protect this field. And he does. He doesn't go into the corner. He goes there. He, of course, attacks my pawn here. But he cannot do that because then I would mate him, unless he gets support from red. Okay, green is waiting. Red is still making slow moves. I have the time to get a second queen. Even here, instead of the rook move, red could have at least stopped me from getting another queen. But he was not aware of it, or he wanted to be friends with me, I don't know. So I get another queen. Yellow brings back another knight to further protect his king. Green's just moving slow. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't mention, a couple of moves ago, green moved away his knight. So he also allowed me to queen. And maybe it was because I was attacking yellow Green thought, well, he's not only playing selfish, he really does something towards the side players, so I support him. Maybe that was his thinking. I don't know. Okay. Red is still pushing pawns. I move my queen. What do I want there? I want to have the possibility to go at this point in order to triple my attack on the king here. But also, of course, I have the possibility to attack this bishop. And as I said, the bishop has to stay on this diagonal, so he has to move carefully. Now he goes into the corner where he thinks he's maximum safe, which may be true. Green is pushing, red is doing something. Now that was a move which has a little aggression in it, because now when the knight moves away, my king is under attack. So whenever I'm attacking carelessly, it may be painful coming back on me. So I have to possibly do something about it, but I'm not really seeing it at this moment. So I'm just moving back with my queen and now threatening to mate on this field. How can yellow defend that field? Well, actually there's nothing he can do. He now is depending really on the help of red. But he doesn't even wait. Maybe he should have waited. I always say don't quit too soon. So if red would just have moved his knight here, I would at least have to make another move. So let's see. For example, bishop moves here, knight moves here, I'm in check, bishop takes queen. Simple defend. But it would have needed the other player. And well, maybe at this point, yellow was not believing that red would do something at some point, but this last move, he should have been aware of it and it would have been a chance. So he quitted, and green immediately starts the attack on red. So he says, now that yellow is done, now we do red. And green and blue will be one in second place, or the other way around. So usually I do not bother about hunting down dead kings. But in this case, since it was just one move, of course I take it. And green is continuing the attack. He is seeing that this field is 2 times protected by myself. Even if I wanted to cheat with green and moved away my queen, there would still be protection for his knight. The queen can't take back. The king neither, of course. Okay. Red brings in the rook to double attack or triple attack the knight. And I just move a pawn. I cannot really do something about red's position in the moment. My material is placed well. I could not replace it. So I just have time and maybe get another queen. Green is continuing the attack, opening the check from the queen, but also giving check himself. Bishop cannot take, king has to move, moves in the corner. And now I was thinking, well, should I possibly check him? What could then happen? So I check him. Knight could check him too, but would it be mate? No. Knight would block the protection for my queen, so the king could take my queen. So knight could attack red's queen. King cannot take, well, knight or rook would take, and then green knight would take red queen. So we would take out the red queen, and since I have two queens, it would still be a good position, but then green would become stronger, and I would, of course, also lose a queen. So I figured, no, I'm not risking my queen at this point. So I just move on and rather go for a third queen. Green also starts pushing. Red is moving. Okay. And here is the third queen. At this point, of course, I feel like strong. Yeah, it's just me. But I have seen games where I had 3 or even 4 queens, and suddenly all my queens got under attack at the same time. I could not protect them and lost them very fast. So always be careful if you have many queens. So green is possibly attacking via this diagonal. Red's just pushing. I bring in my second queen for possible attacks. I'm actually thinking about moving my queen here in order to have a triple attack on this position. Was still not exactly decided what I wanted to do. Okay, and green is playing great support for me. Green basically, he only has 1 point so far. I already have 23 points. He knows he cannot fight against my 3 queens here, so he wants to be my partner and wants us to take down red as fast as possible. So he attacks the queen, even though this field is 2 times attacked by red. The rook just can't take. Okay. But he takes with the queen. Why is he taking with the queen? Well, possibly he was worried that the protection of this field is not strong enough. Possibly he was afraid of attacks from the knight towards the queen, but it would attack just the same way here. So at this point, I also play a little slow. I just move my queen here to block that pawn from promoting. Also to be able to go on every of these white fields as needed. And also to wait how this fight between green and red would unfold. Oh yeah, and I didn't see that. I saw it in the game, I didn't see it now in the review. So by moving the queen away, he can give a check and a queen and a rook fork at the same time. Of course, the rook can take, but then my queen can take again and red would have lost another rook. If red would have taken with the rook and let the queen in this position, he could take this attack with a rook and I would not take back with my queen. So maybe that would have been the better choice. Okay. So I take the rook. The queen does not want to trade with the other queen. That's smart. I have a short look whether this queen is somehow threatening my king's position, but not at all in the moment. Red is trying to find some counterplay against green, maybe also hoping that I will then join teams and start to promote him and to help him. But he was just leaving his bishop hanging, kind of possibly in despair. Green is trading knights and again attacking red's position, also threatening that this queen would mate on this field. So red has to do something. He takes. I move my queen, and my idea is to mate on this field, just with support of a second queen here. Also on this field, I'm blocking kind of 2 pawns at the same time. Okay, what is red doing? During the game, I didn't notice. I thought red is in despair. He just is throwing away his material and waiting for me to end the game. But actually what red was doing is, of course, he puts green into check, and if I would make this move, I would protect the queen and green would be mate. Of course, the red queen then could take my queen, so he would win 9 points, but I would win the mate, so I would be at 53 points. He would be at 20 points, so I could afterwards claim win. So I would be first and he would be second. So that would be the shortest path for me to win this game. But I was so enthusiastic about myself having been able to kill yellow basically alone. And now having been able to get red also close to mate. I simply wanted to do my mate here, and I did not bother about green or red, what they were doing there. So after the game, red was kind of sad that I did not support his smart attack here. But frankly, I just didn't see it. And if I would have seen it, I'm not sure, because green supported my attack so brave and so well. Should I be a traitor to him in this moment? I don't think so. But of course, it's free for all, and if I could secure my win through that move, it would be completely okay to do that. So I'm not doing it, I'm just taking the red knight, and the king takes the queen. And from there on, the attack on this pawn is too big, basically. He cannot really defend it. Green just moves a little, and here's the mate. And also now, of course, I can claim win. Okay. So I think that was a great game. I mean, if you have seen my last videos, you have possibly seen me failing badly, trying to comment live during the game. So this time I just played the game, and after it was a good game, I do a review on a good game. So I have a good game on my channel too. So yeah, but thanks for watching, thanks for playing, and see you soon. Bye-bye.